to hear information about the construction of the new OCPS Elementary School opening east of Wyndham Lakes Elementary in August. The school will be named on April 12th. A few housekeeping notes about how this meeting will work. Attendees are automatically muted with cameras off. Please use the Q&A tool to ask questions. You can ask questions at any time, but you'll hear them at the end of the presentation. That's when we'll read them all aloud and go through them. The chat is available as a backup, but please try to direct any questions for the panel to the Q&A section. Jason, if you could please advance the slide. One more. We have online a wide variety of panelists who are available to answer questions today. We were having some lagging issues, so I've asked people to have their cameras on when they're speaking and off when they're not. We might even have to move away from that if we start to have like the presentation freezing up, so we'll keep you posted on that. I will be introducing all the panelists shortly. If you have any technical issues with WebEx, you can reach their support team on the phone. I did just copy their phone number into the chat, but if you can't see the chat, the phone number for WebEx is 1-866-229-3239, and option 2 and option 1. This meeting is being recorded and will be posted on the OCPS Facilities Communications YouTube page, as well as sent out as a link to anyone who registered for this meeting. The presentation slides are already up at facilities.ocps.net, and they're also being posted on board member Linda Cobert's page at ocps.net under School Board. So today we're going to hear about the construction, progress, and hear from your new principal. Before we get started, let's turn to your District 3 School Board member Linda Cobert for some opening remarks.
Hi everybody, I just want to welcome you tonight. Hopefully my dogs are not going to bark in the middle of this as I'm at home, but I do want to welcome you to our community meeting for the current name 30ESE3. I'm really looking forward to the community's input as you'll get that opportunity to choose a name for our new school, colors and the mascots. I'm excited as you develop and create the traditions that are going to be the foundations for memories for our kids for a lifetime. It's very exciting to open a new school. So our school will be opening this fall in August of 2022. And I want to let you know that you have absolutely won the lottery of principals in Principal Parker. So I was so pleased when they called to let me know that Lee Parker would be our new principal. You guys are absolutely going to love him, and he's going to lead our school and our kids to success. You're also going to hear a construction update. We're also very, very fortunate to have Pirtle Construction building our beautiful new school. And at the end, there'll be some time for some questions and comments. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it back over to Lauren.
Thank you, Linda. And as School Board Member Cobert just mentioned, there will be a question and answer portion at the end. However, because of the neat format we're in, you can actually put the questions in earlier if you want to. So that Q&A tool, I can see someone already did. Good, that means it's working. So in addition to School Board Member Cobert, we are expecting a representative from the area superintendent's office, either William Bond or Sheila Wyndham. Your principal, Lee Parker, is on the line, as Board Member Cobert said, and I will hand things over to him in a few minutes. The architect on this project is Ziskovich. From Ziskovich, we have Ed Napier and George Del Castillo, who are joining us today. The construction manager is Pirtle, and Jason Krasunas is going to be leading most of the presentation. The traffic engineer from this project is Dow Consultants, with a subcontractor of TPD Traffic, and Dwi Dow, Turgut Dervish, and Mina Atasi might be joining us from that group. The civil engineer on this project is Jay Klima from Klima Weeks, and he is definitely here and he is waving. From OCPS Facilities, we have Mo Arthur, who is the design manager. I manage communications. I'm Lauren Roth. From planning, we have Christopher Mills. Jess Lambert, the director of construction planning, is on the line. Tamara Cox, who is the team project manager, is on the line, and what she does, she helps connect the school district and the architect and the construction manager to make sure that things get built to OCPS's very specific specifications. From the OCPS District Police, we have Commander Randy Durkee, who oversees this area. From Transportation, we have Adam Zabritsky. And we also did invite HOA President Carter Conser. And from our local government, we work closely with Orange County and I do see Carter is on, so Carter's on. And from Orange County, we work closely with our partners to work on the roadways and the sidewalks and all those sorts of things that fall in their jurisdiction. And so we invited Christina Pichardo Cruz and Diana Almodovar. Christina does school safety and traffic engineering, and Diana is the Deputy Director of Public Works. I think they were both maybes, so when we get to the point of questions, if they haven't been able to join us, we do have some folks on our team who can speak to some of those same issues. So with that, one thing before I hand things over to Principal Parker, I did copy the zone for the school into the chat. So if that's something you haven't seen yet and you were wondering where the lines are, that's not something that facilities does, but I dropped it in there in case that was helpful information. All right, so now handing things over to Principal Parker.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Mrs. Colbert, for that nice introduction. I really appreciate it. Opening a school is a very exciting time for anyone, especially for a principal. I've been very busy hiring staff members. I've been doing interviews. I received over 200 resumes for positions at this new school. I think up to date now, my secretary told me I've done about 90 interviews. I still have more scheduled. I'm just looking for the best of the best staff to put in this new school to make it just an amazing place for people to work and students to learn. So I talked to Lauren, and I am going to give you a little sneak peek at naming and colors and mascots, at least top 3, and what it will be sent to the board for the next meeting, the first meeting in April. So I can tell you the name. The top 3 choices were Lake Preserve Elementary School, Creekside Elementary School, and Stonewyck Elementary School. And of those 3, Stonewyck overwhelmingly had the largest percentage of vote. I actually thought it was cool myself, the way it's spelled with a Y. As far as colors went, we had black and gold as the overwhelming choice, and then gray and blue, and then gray and white. So the mascot was 3 choices were alligator, eagle, or a griffin, which is, if you're not sure what that is, it is a half lion, so king of the land, and half eagle, king of the air. And then once I saw that, I thought, well, what a cool way to spell that would be with a Y, just like Stonewyck was with a Y, would be pretty cool if that's what comes through. So the Stonewyck Elementary, black and gold, griffin are the top 3 choices that are being put forward. So I was very excited to hear that. There was very, very good participation in the survey, so I was very happy to see that. And I'm looking forward to, I've already been at both feeder schools at Wyndham Lakes and Weatherby, talking to the principals there, meeting students, had 2 parent meet and greets, one at Wyndham, one at Weatherby, met some great people who are very excited for this new school, just like I am. So I will be on for the rest of the meeting and take any questions that come my way. So thank you, everyone.
Awesome, that's so cool. Thanks for sharing the names, Lee. And Jason's going to take it from here.
Yep. Well, good evening, everyone. As was mentioned earlier, my name is Jason Krasunas. I'm the project executive for Perto Construction, the construction manager for the project. I wanted to start off by just showing here the brief aerial overview of the location of the property, indicated here in red with the dotted circle around it. It's about 3/4 of a mile from Wyndham Lakes Elementary School, just off of 417, and it is located in a site off of Stonewyck Street, as mentioned previously. Here is another detailed view of the school site itself. You can see here we've indicated in the direction of north of what that is as I move through the slides here. It borders the Lake Preserve residential community as well as the Harrington Point complex behind the school or on the north side of the property. This was a greenfield site, which is why it's shown there with very little vegetation. It specifically had sod on there to begin the project, for which we've scraped off. And then there's also a future community park that is planned just to the west of the school property. The size of the project itself is 10.6 acres. The actual site itself, you can see here, is identified in the borders of the red shading. That is the school property site on the north side of Stonewyck Street. I want to spend a little bit of time on this specific slide here related to the site plan for the project. A couple of key components that I wanted to indicate. First and foremost here, this blue circle, which is the school main entrance or the secured point of entry for where you will be dropping your kids off. Then they will come into the school utilizing that single point of entry. Couple other things to point out here. You do have separate entrances, one for your bus loops, one for your parents drop off. And I know that it's not indicated here, but the district as well as Pirtle and the AE team have been working diligently with the county to get left and right turn lanes coming off of Stonewyck into the school property as well. And so we've been working on that, and they will be put into construction so that we have those available for when the school opens up. As I mentioned here, the parent drop-off area where you will have your queuing of about roughly 212 vehicles. And there's also provided parking for up to 150 vehicles as well in there. And the bus queuing for the bus drop-off is 15 buses will be able to be queued on site. It is a 2-story elementary school. On the north side of the property, you have your tot and youth lots that will be equipped with playground equipment for the children to play on, as well as outdoor basketball courts, a covered PE shelter in the event of rainy days. We all know we have those here in the state of Florida. Children can still play outside under the covered PE shelter. And then we have our bike racks here within the property, and kind of shown in the white area here in white, the line that I'm dragging my cursor along, those are the sidewalks that come up through the property. And our dedicated fence lines are indicated, as you can see, in blue and in red dots as you travel the site so that the security of the site can be maintained. The proposed first floor plan of what the building will look like, just to orientate everybody again, here's the main entrance to the campus here, indicated in blue. On the first floor is basically your main hub where you have all of the kitchen and dining spaces, your administration areas, your music and media areas, your art areas, also the resource rooms indicated in green, and also available classroom spaces as well. And then for the second floor, we have, again, more dedicated classroom spaces, as well as resource spaces. And these areas in green are your mechanical, electrical, custodial storage closets for the maintenance of the building itself. This project was designed to meet green globes for the sustainable building standards, and some of the features that were included on the site were native and low water plants to reduce the water consumption, as well as a low impact design for the stormwater management of the project. And for the building itself, we will be implementing the utilization of high efficiency chillers. They will reduce energy by about 8%. We have light colored roof to reduce heat gain and improve energy performance, as well as most of the general classrooms will have available windows that will bring in natural daylight, and those windows will become equipped with thermal efficient windows and glazings to ensure we do not make the school not hot for the children. A brief shot of the south elevation. So if you were standing on If you're standing on the sidewalk looking to the north of Stonewyck Street, you would have the front main entry here indicated in red. You can see the accent colors, and this color palette was chosen for the exterior of the building from one of the available OCPS previously approved color palettes. Another detailed rendering of the administration area and the front entrance of the school as well, of what it'll look like eventually. This specific prototype has been used previously throughout the district. Back in 2014, OCPS opened up Dr. Phillips Elementary School. In 2018, the Union Park Elementary School project was open. And most recently, the Rolling Hills Elementary School project, which opened in 2020. And the reason that that is stated as modified is because the Rolling Hills project was only a single-story building. It was not of the two-story version for which Site 30E SE3 will be. Some of the construction updates and milestones. We did start construction back on July 6th of 2021. You can see here some of the milestones that I'll go into further detail over the next couple of slides. And as everyone mentioned, we are on schedule to have the project completed so that it's open for the fall of 2022 in August of this year. Here's an aerial view back from August of last year, 2021, when we first couple of months on the site. This is when we started bringing in all of the dirt for the project, or the import fill. We had to raise the site roughly about 3 feet across in order to match the adjacent elevations of some of the neighboring communities. So there, if you guys were driving up and down Stonewyck throughout the day, you probably saw a lot of dump trucks coming in and out of the site, bringing in that fill. Another shot of this here. One thing I wanted to make known here is in red where I'm circling with my cursor. That is our current construction entrance for the project, and it will remain that throughout the course of construction until the project is open. This was an interesting time as we brought in the month of October of last year, where we started and brought in a 250-ton taller crane to erect the tilt panels, or the construction, the concrete walls for the exterior of the building. Those of you may have seen us on site for a couple of months may not have thought that a lot was happening. And then in the midst of roughly a week to 2 weeks, you had a building as indicated here. The crane had moved out of the way at that point because we had erected all of the exterior walls for this project. And we started the installation of the red iron as indicated here, or the structural steel for the project with the bar joists, columns, and beams, so that we can then start the roofing process for the metal decking for the project. Moving on from there, we loaded the roof with material membrane so that we could dry the building in from the outside elements, so that we weren't allowing water to get into the building, so that we could start our interior portion of the project. In February, most recently, we started the construction on the staff and parent parking areas, which is on the east side of the property bordering the Lake Preserve community. You can see here we started the asphalt and the specific base for that portion of the project. Just some detailed pictures of kind of what I went through on the aerials. As I mentioned, we were averaging close to 150 to almost 200 dump trucks a day, bringing in fill for the project. Then we started, once we brought in all of the fill and we did all of our grading, we poured and formed all of our concrete walls on the site there and brought in a large boom pump truck in the picture on the right so that we could pour all of our concrete panels. Here's a more close-up view of the walls being erected for the project. We had one up at that specific moment, and they were lifting up panel number 2 for the job. We did bring in a 250-ton taller crawler crane to be able to take care of that, and another shot of the bar joists being installed within the structure. The second floor is constructed of metal decking. You can see that here in place, and then it gets poured over top of with concrete as well to form the second floor for the project. We're in the midst now of getting into our interior framing with the metal studs for the installation of those, followed by our insulation and our interior door frames, moving into the eventual hanging of all of our drywall within the building, and so that we are getting ready to prep and paint the interior walls of the school. A snapshot of the roof membrane standing on top of the roof of the specific structure. This is what the roof looks like. It's made of the white membrane material, as I mentioned earlier, the light colored material for sustainability purposes. The picture to the right is an indication of the paving that was done on the first area of the parent parking area that we just constructed, as well as another shot looking down from the roof for the installation of the dirt and everything prior to the pavement for the picture on the right. We're excited to continue construction, but at this point, I'm going to end the presentation and turn it back over to Lauren to open up for questions and answers.
Thank you, Jason. Those are some really cool pictures. I loved like the last one where you're looking down. Do you mind moving the slide forward one more so that people can see how to put questions in? We do have a handful of questions already. Tamara, I think this first one is going to be one for you because it doesn't look like Christina or Diana have been able to make it on. They're asking what the plan is for the Wyndham Lakes Boulevard and Keneal Bay intersection and whether that'll get a light.
So my answer at this point, Lauren, would align with the conversation we had during the 100% community meeting, whereas we had Orange County on at that point, and they said that they are currently looking into a temporary light at that intersection. So I think it would be best for us to just confirm their intentions and maybe share back with the community at a later date.
Okay, sounds good. Lee, the next two questions are for you. There was a question about whether the school have a gifted program.
Yes, my intention is to set it up just the way it is set up at Wyndham Lakes and at Weatherby, where there is a gifted teacher on each grade level, and then there would be a gifted, talented, accelerated cluster on each grade level.
Well, that's a neat model. The next one's also for you. It was when is kindergarten registration and how is that going to work?
We're currently taking registration now. We have posted for our registrar. So I'm taking resumes for people, for registrars who do the registrations. So in the meantime, we are accepting registrations. If you're at Wyndham Lakes, myself or someone from my staff is there on Thursdays from 9 to noon, obviously not spring break, from 9 to noon to accept registration packets there. At Weatherby, you can work with their registrar on site. If you really want to just bring it by, the registrar at Lake Nona Middle School, where my office currently is also accepting them for us. So there's a few different ways to get those registrations done. And then people can feel free also to email me if they have questions. I'm not a registrar expert, but I can find the answers. The registrars at the two feeder schools have been very kind to help people with those questions about the registration packet and maybe what they need to include, and then holding them for us, or we'll pick them up there. People have been emailing them directly to me as well. So either one of those options will be great.
And Lee, before I let you go, there's a follow-up question. Will the gifted program include kindergarten?
It is very odd, not odd. It's rare that a kindergartner comes in with a gifted EP because testing generally doesn't happen for that until a teacher gets to know a child and can refer them through to the gifted program. So at this point, I would not have a gifted resource teacher in kindergarten at the moment. We would start that in first grade. But if a child came through with a gifted EP already in place in kindergarten, we would work out those services.
Okay, and Lee, another question just came in. Will there be before and after school care?
Yes, absolutely. I just got done hearing from all 5 of the approved vendors that OCPS has for before and after care. So we heard from Champions, we heard from Discovery, Dramatic Ed, the ASP, so YMCA. So we are currently looking through all of their proposals to decide which vendor we're going to use. And then as soon as that happens, I'll let, via email or school messenger, let folks know when that's going to be. And then whatever vendor we choose, when they tell me they're ready to start accepting information and applications for that, registrations, I will turn that back around out to everyone.
Great, thank you. Adam Zubritsky, there's one for you. I'm going to read it out. Will there be an identified road used for bus transportation? Will there be communication on who will be able to ride the bus to school? So I think we've kind of got two pieces here, like bus route and, that 2 mile zone. Could you address these?
Yeah. Okay, well, as far as the streets that we use, it's going to depend on where the route is coming from.
You mean like based on where the students live?
Right. I mean, where the stops are on the route as to what streets they'd have to use to get to the school, whichever ones would be safest to use and best for bus transportation. We do plan the routes out for the drivers, but it's based on, where the stop locations are leading up to heading to the school. And then eligibility determines the routes after there's a zone for it. And
Okay, and when will people be notified if their child is eligible, within those 2 miles?
yeah, towards the end of the summer prior to opening.
Like July-ish?
Yes.
Okay, so, watch your email. Is it email or mail?
A couple different ways of doing it. They can contact the school, they can contact transportation. There should be, there's also on the website, there's Find My Bus, that they can look it up and see if they're going to be eligible.
Okay, great, thank you. So there's a question about hiring. And the question is, when will hiring start? But Lee, I believe you already started that process. So do you mind just going into a little bit of detail on how folks can apply? And
yes, so we started back in January. The OCPS Employment Services has a hiring timeline, which we follow, and it's dependent upon someone's contract type. And then the first ones that we can hire, that we accept resumes from, is from our 2 feeder schools. And then folks who are on PSC and CC contracts, and then annual contracts. And then that all closes out we call it early hiring, stops right before spring break. And then we'll pick back up again on April the 18th. And then after that, right now we're only receiving resumes from folks who are already OCPS instructional staff members, no classified yet. That probably won't be posted until May. So classified, we're talking paraprofessionals, clerks, things of that nature. The only 2 classified I have right now is my secretary, and then we're hiring for the registrar, because we got to get all those kindergartners registered. But that's kind of the hiring process. And again, if someone is outside of OCPS, they would look on the OCPS.net employment services site, and those would be posted on there, and they can apply through the regular application process. If someone is an OCPS instructional person now, they could send me their resume now. I've been in since January.
That's a lot of really good information. Thank you very much. I'm not seeing any additional questions at this point. I am going to drop my email address and Lee's and board member Cobert's into the chat in case anybody wants to follow up with us after the meeting. But board member Cobert, is there anything additional that you wanted to say to the group?
I would just say, anyone has any questions, you're going to put those emails up there. You are more than welcome to contact me directly. If I don't have the answer to your question, I'm going to get you to the right person. And again, what did I tell you? You won the lottery of principals. And part of the reason he has so many people wanting to come and teach and work at this school is because of him and his leadership. So I'm just so very excited about all of this coming together, the community, the kids, the parents, the teachers, the staff. It's going to be a great school. So really
Awesome.
excited and looking forward to it.
And we did have a few questions come in just while I was typing. So I think they're both going to be for you, Lee.
I see the one in the chat about uniforms. That's why I came back on real quick.
Oh, why don't you go ahead and get that one, and then I've got two
Yes.
more for you.
Yeah, so uniforms will be something that we survey the community for to see if that is something that folks are interested in and want to do. Just keep in mind, even if the community says yes, we would like to be a uniform school, here's what our uniforms might look like. We are still a public institution, so uniforms can be opted out of, and they are optional. So even if the community says yes, we want uniforms. That is not something that is enforceable across the board, just by nature of being a public institution.
Okay. There's a question about whether there will be a cost for extended day. I assume you wouldn't know how much at this point, but
There is, and they're pretty much all pretty close to one another because that's negotiated with the district. One of them is not allowed to, charge a significant amount more or less than one of the others. But if you go to, just for instance, one of the ones that gave us their presentation was Champions. And for whatever reason, I remember their website. It's discoverchampions.com. And I believe that will give you a pretty good idea of what the cost will be for theirs, and all of the others will be fairly in line. Like if you went to Dramatic Education, they would have theirs. And so they're all fairly close to one another.
great. And there was a question about what School Messenger is. So that's a phone and email notification system that Orange County Public Schools uses. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe once you've registered as at a school, your phone number and your email are in there, and that's when you would start to get messages through that system. Is that a fair description?
Yes, and it's the I've talked to some folks that are at both of the feeder schools, and they've told me, hey, I've gotten your phone calls, but I've not gotten an email, because usually we send out the same message via email that goes out via phone. So I've told them to please check with their current school to make sure that their correct email is on file, in Skyward before that flips over to the new school. And for kindergarten folks who are wondering about that, once we lovingly call it the flip, and that's when the systems actually flip into the next school year. And then that's when all of that information downloads into School Messenger, and that is generally midsummer. So folks who are registering for kindergarten, they would start getting those at that time.
Okay, and can students from any grade level register now for next year?
Absolutely. The
Okay.
student enrollment page at ocps.net, there's a little icon right on the front that says student enrollment, and that student enrollment packet is there. It can be downloaded, and you type right into it, and they've got a great checklist to tell you exactly what we need for your registration, such as if you're renting, we need a lease or power bill or proof of residency or things like that.
Okay, fantastic. Now, did any of the panelists get any questions that were directly to them that I haven't read out loud, because I can't see questions that are just sent to individual panelists? Did I miss anything? Okay, and I did want to mention that Area Superintendent Bond did join us. I know he was having some technical difficulties, so just want to thank him for joining us. With that, unless there's anything else, I think we can wrap up the meeting. Anything else from anybody? Okay, terrific. Well, thank you so much for joining us. The next time we will see you will be the sneak peek. What the sneak peek is a chance to actually walk around the school, and that will be within about a week or two before school opens in August. So watch out for information on that. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good night.